Hi there, I'm Erica. Thanks for joining us today. Today will be a full body workout. Reminder that if you like what we do here and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. And always, it's more fun to do fitness with a friend, so be sure to share with someone you know. So we're getting right into it with a couple of pelvic rocks. Right here, I'm starting my timer. We're going to do this for 30 seconds. So we're doing pelvic rocks here, starting with taking them forward and back. Okay. So forward and back. If you saw a previous video that we did on pelvic rocks and transverse abdominis, you'll understand that whole idea of 6 and 12. So here you see I'm now switching. I'm going side to side, or 3 and 6 if you're still thinking about that clock. But keeping it easy, it's front to back. I did a few just to warm up and side to side. And then my little timer went off there. All right. So at this point, I'm bringing my knees in tight, thighs over the belly into what's called a hollow body hold. All right. So this would be considered like a modified hollow body hold because my legs aren't extended straight up or out. But again, just 30 seconds here. You can always do that progression of like straight up. That would be kind of a first progression. And then you can take those legs out at a diagonal and start lowering them down as long as you can keep the low back nice and long and no arch or pain in the low back. I'm inhaling, exhaling, drawing the abs in deeper to keep supported. 30 seconds done. So now I'm going to flip over for a forearm plank. This is one of those moments where I realized, oh, I didn't start my timer to let me know that it is time to work out. So I'm making sure my workout starts before I head on over to that plank. And the reason that I chose these exercises and this progression is because you want to keep that idea of that, excuse me, that pelvic tilt and then that hollow body hold feeling as we flip over, right? So what we've done is we've changed the body's relationship to gravity, but we still want to keep that long low back, abdominals, especially the transverse abdominis, activating to support the low back and keep it nice and long, and pulling the abs in and up away from the table. So again, did 30 seconds here. You can always increase this. You know, going through this whole set this first time is an awesome opportunity also to like kind of get your warm up set in, and then you can add as you go on. So next up, we're right into this workout. So we're starting with halos. So as you can see, I'm taking this bar or the kettlebell and circling it around my head. You'll notice that I started in this chamber position and I always go back to the chamber position. So in this video, I'm doing 6 each way so that I get a total of 12 here. And I'm trying not to overarch my low back, trying to not move the hips too much, but really just work that movement around my head. Next up, I'm going into a bicep curl into an Arnold press. So what makes this an Arnold press is the fact that my palms are facing my shoulders and then they rotate to face, away at the top of the movement. So apologies that you don't get to see the palms facing away at the top of the movement, but you can see in the movement of my arms that I'm rotating that arm as the dumbbells go overhead. All right. So here I'm inhaling and then exhaling overhead because for me, that's the hardest part, making sure that using the abdominals to support my movement in that stable position with that weight overhead. Again, doing 12 reps here, making sure that I keep those elbows in tight by the rib cage as I curl. And then as I'm coming down from that curl as well, not allowing those elbows to swing forward and back. Next exercise here is going to be a squat with rotation. So I'm grabbing a heavier kettlebell. All right. And I think right there, I was going to stand on top of a box so that you can see me, but I felt like, oh, you'll get what I'm doing here because I'm going to touch those elbows to the thighs for that squat. And then I'm rotating. So I am rotating and I am pivoting both my legs. Okay. So we want that rotation at the hip, right? Those thigh bones are connected to the hip, so they should rotate or pivot as well. I'm inhaling to tap those elbows to the thighs or inside of the thighs, and I am exhaling to reach the kettlebell overhead. And so this shouldn't be 2 exercises. It shouldn't be a squat and then that overhead reach. your hips coming through is what helps you get that kettlebell overhead. So next up, you need a band for this one with handles. I'm just putting the handle around my ankle, and then I am securing the other part in my hand. So I'm on a step just so that you can see me. Again, I'm just trying to make sure you can see me over my reformer that's there. So key pieces of setup here. Your bicep is by the ear and you are bending at the elbow. So this is one of those ones that's a little tricky for me. I sometimes do a little bit too much wrist action. One of my tennis coach says that I'm wristy. So I'm looking in a mirror here for this side to make sure that, my wrist stays out of it and, that elbow is nice and high up to the ceiling. And so on this next side, I'll change the legs and I'll face you so you can see me straight on. All right. So I always try to make sure you can see kind of a profile view of what it looks like and then face you if there's like a two part of an exercise. So same thing here. So, I'm not stepping down here because I didn't want to take the time to move the box. So I'm just placing one leg slightly behind me and I'm making sure I'm fiddling a little bit with this handle because I don't want the handle to come up my leg as I start to do this. But it's not gonna. So that was success. So again, that bicep by the ear, the elbow up towards the sky. Again, trying not to be too wristy. I can't see myself in a mirror now, so I'm just trusting that I'm doing this well. You'll start to see my lips move, and that's because I'm counting. So I have to kind of count out loud for myself, or I lose track. It's something that my clients appreciate when I actually do an accurate count. So that's what I'm intending to do here. I'm thinking about, contracting the tricep from the elbow all the way up into my armpit to really feel the full contraction. All right, we made it through that one. Next exercise. So what you're seeing me doing here is you just got to find an anchor point, and then I am securing the handle of one, and I'm going to loop it through the other handle to just secure the band there. Okay, and then so this one's going to be a little bit of a balance challenge, moving some stuff out of the way. I'm going to take that handle, loop my foot and ankle through. And so this exercise is, it's a single leg hip hinge to a knee lift. And so we're working psoas here, okay, or what some people like to call the hip flexor, even though technically your hip flexor is made up of several muscles. But I'm, hip hinging here. So, the hip is in extension when I'm in that hinge. So the psoas is long. And then pulling that knee up puts in an active flexion, right? So I think this is such a good exercise for everybody. One, it is challenging the balance, but then it's also active hip flexion. A lot of us sit all day. I'm one of those people that I sit the majority of my day because of my admin heavy side of what I do these days. And so you're in passive hip flexion, but we need to work active hip flexion as well, okay? It will make your back feel so much better. It'll help you move better. So that's what you're seeing here, a little hip hinge. And then I'm pulling that knee in and up to get that active hip flexion. So changing sides here, you may notice that I kind of changed my anchor there just because I wanted a little bit more tension. And then I also wanted to stay in frame for you on the second side. So notice, especially if this is a beginner exercise for you, this is a green band, which is typically like the second lightest band. So light band. And you'll notice when I go into the hinge and my leg goes back, there is no tension on the band. So again, if you're new at this exercise, first of all, do it without a band, okay? No band. And then if you're wanting a little bit more challenge, go ahead and add the band. But when you start in this hip hinge place, don't have tension because that's a whole nother ball game of challenge, trying to, keep that balance as you hinge and you're on tension. That is something that you want to work to over time, all right? You can see me, I'm smiling a little bit here because I'm really trying to keep it together for you. The balance on my, I guess it's on my right side is, interestingly enough, it's a little bit more challenging. And that's because if you've been following us for a while, I had a knee surgery about a year ago. So it's still not as strong as it used to be. But that's it. That's it for today. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.